Sripada Srivallabha Charithamrutham, Chapter 6, Part 2. Lord Datta's Grand Opulence. Om Sai Ram. Sumati Maharani told this to Raja Sharma. Raja Sharma said that he would ask Kal Agni Shamana Datta himself during the time of worship. It was a rule that during the worship of Kal Agni Shamana, no other person should see. At the end of the worship, Datta would come in human form, sit in front of Raja Sharma and talk to him. Datta would later merge into the idol. This used to happen daily. Raj Sharma did not submit petty matters or selfish problems to Datta. That day, during the time of worship, Datta appeared very pleased. After the worship, Datta sat before Raj Sharma. He called, "Come, Sridhar," and a form emerged from Datta and sat immersed in meditation in front of him. Datta again made a sign with his finger and called, "Come, Sridhar." Immediately that form merged in Datta. Raj Sharma was wondering at this. Lord Datta told Raj Sharma, "The form you have just seen is one of my partial manifestations that will come in the ensuing years. Whenever I call, even the liberated souls who merged in me have to come out immediately. When I order to depart, they should disappear at once. My sportive excellence is not just limited to the earth. All the globes in the universe are play balls in my hands. If I kick once with my leg, one is thrown away billions of miles. I am beyond birth and death." Saying so, he touched the center in between the eyebrows of Raj Sharma. Immediately it dawned upon Raj Sharma that he was born as Vishnu Datta in one of the yugas, and his wife was born as Somi Devamma, also called Sushila. He remembered all the past. Sri Datta said, "When I appeared before you in that yuga, I told you to ask for any boon. You could not ask a proper boon. You invited me to your house for partaking meals on the day of the ceremony of your ancestors. I took meals along with the sun and fire gods and thereby gave permanent residence status in Brahmalok to your forefathers. I want to incarnate as Sripada Srivallabha. For the last 100 years, I have been giving my darshan as Sripada Srivallabha to yogis and great people on this earth." In Treta Yuga, sage Bharadwaj conducted Savitra Kathaka Chayanam sacrifice in Pithikapuram. The holy ashes of that sacrificial fire formed into huge mountains. Hanuman carried those ashes to heaven, earth and Patal Loks. In Martya Lok, those ashes were thrown in Dronagiri of the Himalayan region and in some other regions. While Hanuman was carrying those ashes, one small piece fell in Gandharvanagar. Gandharvanagar is the holy confluence of Bhima and Amaraja rivers. After retracing my incarnation as Sripada Srivallabha, I will be born as Sri Narasimha Saraswati in Meena Lagna. I will display many miracles in Gandharvanagar and will remain for 300 years in Tapo Samadhi in the Kadalivan of Sri Shaila. After that, I will live in Prajnapur with the name of Swami Samarth and will leave my mortal body when Saturn enters Meen Rashi. Raj Sharma explained to his wife the announcements of Lord Datta. Bapanariyulu, the Satya Rishivar, said, "My dear Raj Sharma, you are a meritorious person who offered meals during the annual ceremony of your ancestors to Lord Datta, the sun god and fire god in the ancient times. Datta in any form may ask for meals during this birth. Even if that happens to be a day of ceremony in memory of the mains, and even if the revered guests have not taken meals, offer meals to Datta when he asks without any hesitation. My dear Sumati, please keep a note of these things very carefully." Shankar Bhatt, the Leelas of Lord Datta are unprecedented, unthinkable and unheard of so far. The birth of Sripada Srivallabha. On a Mahalaya Amavasya day, Raj Sharma was making arrangements for the ceremony of his ancestors. Then a cry of supplication, "Bhavati Bhiksham Dehi," was heard at the entrance of the house in the street. Sumati Maharani gave alms to the Avadhuta. He told her to request for any boon. Sumati said to the Avadhuta, "Sir, you are an Avadhuta. Your words are self-fulfilling ones. Elders are saying that the incarnation of Sripad Srivallabha will be attracted towards the earth very shortly. In what form is Lord Datta moving now? It is heard that Lord Datta is moving on this earth from the last 100 years. You told me to ask for any wish. I have a desire to see the form of Sripad Srivallabha." On hearing those words, the Avadhuta broke into a roaring laughter that shook the worlds. Sumati Maharani felt that the whole universe in her vicinity disappeared in a trice. A 16-year-old good-looking boy in the attire of a sage appeared before her and said, "Mother, I am Sripad Srivallabha. I am Datta. You wanted me to show you Srivallabha in the Avadhut form. To satisfy your desire, I am giving you the vision of Sripad Srivallabha. You can ask me for anything in this Srivallabha form of mine. You gave me food. In return, I want to grant some boon. People of this world who do sinful acts intentionally will derive bad results. If good deeds are done intentionally, good results will be achieved. Performing good deeds without any desire is called akarma. For akarma, one should be given another result without taking into the account of the merit or sin. That is under the control of God. Sri Krishna told Arjun to kill the Kauravas because he did akarma. Arjun did not get sin for such killings. The killing of the Kauravas was a divine decision. You and your husband did lot of akarma. Therefore, something has to be given to you for the welfare of the world. Express your wish without any hesitation. I will definitely grant it. The desire of Sumati Maharani after the vision of Lord Datta. Sumati Maharani saw the supernal auspicious figure of Sripada Srivallabha and fell on his feet and paid obeisance. Sripada Srivallabha lifted Sumati Maharani from the ground and said, "Mother, it is a ludicrous matter that a mother should fall on the feet of a child. It diminishes the lifespan of the child also." Then Sumati said, "Lord Sripad Srivallabha, you called me mother, so you agree that I am the mother and you are my child. Your words come true, so make that word true. You should take birth as our son." Then Sripad Srivallabha spoke thus, "May it be so. I will be born in the same form of Sripad Srivallabha which you witnessed now. A mother falling on the feet of the child results in the diminution of the lifespan of the child. I will not violate the principles of righteous conduct and destiny. Therefore, I will live for only 16 years as your child." For that, Sumati began to lament. "Oh, what an offense has happened! Is the life only for 16 years? Then Sripad Srivallabha said, "Mother, I will follow whatever you say for 16 years as your son. After 16 years, a boy has to be regarded as a friend and no restrictions should be imposed. You should not compel me to marry. You must give me permission to me to become an ascetic and wander freely. If you coerce me against my intent, I will not remain in your house." After saying so, Sripada Srivallabha quickly left the place. Sumati Maharani was dumbfounded for some time. She explained it to her husband all that has been said by Sripad Srivallabha. Appala Raja Sharma said, "Sumati, don't grieve. Your father has already hinted that Sri Datta would visit our house seeking alms in this fashion. Sri Datta is an ocean of mercy. Let the birth of Sripad Srivallabha take place. Afterwards, we may think about other things." The news that an Avadhuta visited the house of Appala Raja Sharma had spread in the town. It was discussed that alms was offered to an Avadhuta even before the Brahmins took their meals on the day of Mahalaya Amavasya, which was of utmost importance to the mains. Sri Bapana Vadhanalu said, "The birth of Sripad Srivallabha is known to all. To prostrate before an Avadhuta is also proper, so there is no lapse on the part of Sumati. To prostrate before a child may shrink the lifespan, but to prostrate before an Avadhuta is not wrong." The Brahmins of Pithikapuram were very jealous about this matter. One scholar among them, known as Narasavadhanalu, was highly envious. On Amavasya day, all people would be busy in performing ceremonies to their forefathers. It became a difficult problem to procure Brahmin guests for the ritualistic feasts. However, Bapanarayulu said that no difficulty would arise in the house of Appala Raja Sharma. Sri Raj Sharma was in meditation of Kalagni Shamana. In the meanwhile, 3 guests arrived. The commemorative function of the forefathers was conducted without any obstacle. "My dear Shankar Bhatt, On that particular day, it became an important debatable point whether Vaishyas have the authority for a Vedic sacred ceremony. The council of Brahmins was assembled. A scholar named Ashutosh of Navadvip from Bengal came to Padgaya Kshetra. He had old Nari books with him. He was also invited to the council of Pandits. Sri Bapanarayulu said that in spiritual discipline, Brahmins, Vaishyas and Kshatriyas stand on an equal footing. Therefore, according to ancient Dharma, Vedic Upanayanam was admissible to those castes. For others, Upanayanam in the Puranic tradition could be performed if they so desire. Caste, gender and age are no impediments for attaining wisdom. There were Vaishya sages in Siddhas, and a Vaishya sage named Vallabha became a Siddha by the grace of Lord Datta. A man would derive benefits in all endeavors if the grace of Vallabha Maharshi is available. Sri Bapanaraya's decision was acclaimed by all. However, this decision became painful to a Pandit known as Narasavadhani. He was an adept in dogmatic argument. He was a devotee of goddess Baglamukhi. He worshipped that goddess every day. He would wash his face before a commencement of arguments. He would chant the incantation of Baglamukhi. Then he would proceed to argue. It was difficult to defeat him at that time. Sri Bapanarayulu was a pious one who recited Gayatri Mantra many crores of times. Both of them never indulged in a confrontation during arguments. Narasavadhani washed his face and meditated upon the mantra. Sripada Srivallabha had a very close relation with his maternal grandfather from a very young age. So he was accompanying his grandfather to the assembly of Brahmins. No one was obstructing that charming young boy. That day, Narasavadhani felt uneasy with the presence of Sripada Srivallabha in the meeting. Narasavadhani thought it was wrong for a young lad to attend a conference of great scholars. Before commencing arguments, after reciting Baglamukhi mantra, he questioned Sripad as to why he came there. For that, Sripada replied, "Granddad, it is not proper to attend uninvited. Since you called me in the prescribed systematic manner, I came. I will go if you ask me to go. What is it for me? I do not care. I am a small boy and a free person." Narasavadhani thundered that Sripad should leave. Sri Raj Sharma took his son away. Narasavadhani, who wanted to start arguments, could not speak. In spite of great effort, no word came out of his mouth. Ashutosh, who was watching all of this, laughed hilariously. The decision of Bapanarayulu was carried out in the meeting. Vedic Upanayanam was prescribed for Vaishyas. There was a discussion about the Nari books available with Ashutosh. It was suggested in the Nari books that the birth time of Sripada Srivallabha should be calculated according to the mathematical formula given in the Sandra Sindhu Veda. It was determined that Sripad was born in the early hours of Ganesh Chaturthi in Chitra star in Simbha Lagna and Tula Rashi. It was mentioned that Sripad was an incarnation of Sri Datta, and as his feet were marked with all auspicious features, he bears a worthy name as Sripada Srivallabha. It was further noted that his horoscope should not be given to anyone, and that it will reach in course of time through Akshaya Kumar of Tripura, belonging to the Jain religion. All that would happen according to the divine plan, and it would reach Pithapuram as a part of the divine play. Ashutosh went to the house of Sripada Srivallabha to see him. Today's star is Chitra. I am very much pleased if anyone worships me on the day of my birth star. You came with pure devotion, so I am blessing you. Ask for anything you desire. Then Ashutosh said, Lord, I learnt that Narasavadhani is a devotee of Lord Baklamukhi. I thought of having a vision of Ambika through his assistance. My desire became a hope in vain. I understood that Ambika was furious with him. Sripad immediately said, I am verily that Ambika whom he is worshipping. Ambika, who was with the subtle body of Narasavadhani until then, merged in me the moment he asked me to live. I am the personification of all gods and goddesses. Have the fortune of Ambika Darshan. Saying so, he appeared as Baglamukhi before Ashutosh. Fully satisfied, Ashutosh left for Penisula Kona. He reached the land of penance of Kanva Maharashi in the forest of Penchalakona as per the instructions of Sripada. Sripada then told him that he would be born in Maharashtra in the Vajasanei branch of sage Kanva. He added that he will bless him when he incarnates again, and that he will be one among his chief disciples who will witness all the extraordinary miracles as a treat for his eyes. Sripada asked him to travel immediately. The next episode will continue from here. Om Sai Ram.